on your association?
IDCTA is actually it's a very new, only 2 years. Hopefully this 2 years, but it's been very successful, I could say, throughout.
Without the involvement on the international buyers, do you think it's going to, get better?
I don't think so, because I think you witness yourself how the Indonesian stock exchange. I think without international buyers, and this is the future of the future business. Basically, everybody always have a very strong confidence on Indonesia.
Yep. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yes, oh yes, decarbonizers, carbon activists all over the world. Welcome back to another episode of Carbon Forum. And with me, Poempida Hidayatulloh. And this time around, we're going to discuss a lot of issues related to carbon trading. And we're lucky that today we have a very interesting guest. He's the chairman of the Indonesian Carbon Trade Association. His name is Dr. Riza Suarga. Welcome, Pak Riza. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for being here, and I think you're going to have a lot of things to say related to the carbon trading, because you're the chairman of the IDCTA. Can you elaborate me on your association?
IDCTA is actually it's a very new, only 2 years. Hopefully this 2 years, but it's been very successful, I could say, throughout this challenging 2 years, because we have so many good response, so many interesting and also overwhelmed with a lot of remarks, especially after what we conducted. I think you were there as well last year. In November, we have Carbon Digital Conference.
Yeah, we always do this together, right?
Right. So I think this, even though it's a new association, but I think our members, our board are basically veterans in their respective ways.
Okay, great. The member, they are companies, or how do they actually can get into the membership sort of status?
Yeah, basically, it started from all carbon project developers. I think we share the same sentiment at that point of time. We've done quite a lot of works in terms of developing carbon projects and then generating carbon credits and sell it to a lot of buyers, mainly overseas. But then there are regulatory challenges, both from domestic and also challenges from overseas, from UNFCCC framework, from the Paris Agreement challenges. That's why I think we think together that we should regroup, we should consolidate, and I think we believe that together, I think we can form a much stronger coalition to face a lot of obstacles.
Right. Before we get into details on the issues, on the regulations, what's the status of the carbon market in Indonesia right now? Is it what you expected, or?
Of course, it's not what I'm expecting it. It's been a tough 2 years. I think 2021 in Indonesian government, especially the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, kind of try to consolidate all the regulations. Unfortunately, all the projects that has already been implemented has to be suspended. It also reflects to a lot of questions and also
uncertainties.
Uncertainties, especially from international investors. They're asking us what's going to happen, what happens with Indonesia. And I keep telling them the confidence way.
Of course.
Because we never want to say bad things about our own turf and our government. But of course, I have also the confidence, because the the umbrella of the decree itself doesn't prohibit any international transactions.
Okay.
So by means, I think executing it's a bit slow. I hope with the new administration, of course, elections coming up. Hopefully, anybody that could be the new leaders should take seriously about carbon.
Wow, interesting. Well, you mentioned about the umbrella of the decree, right? The regulations. Do you think it's already completed, the regulations, or do you still wait for certain regulations that can, well, I would call it the bottlenecking of this carbon market?
Well, yeah, it's always that's the interesting part. I think it's everywhere in the world. You've been politician yourself, so I think from the umbrella of the decree, it's very good. But that umbrella needs a lot of implementation regulations.
Yep.
That
The
part,
working level sort of
right?
things, yeah.
That part is a bit taking time. But I think I've been in the forestry industry for almost 30 years. It's always been like that.
Wow.
So you need a lot of breath. You need a lot
Patience,
of patience, but also you need stamina.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that drill, I have been honestly used to that. So knowing that what is happening to carbon market, carbon industry is about the same way. I believe I think you're gonna face the same thing. But I'm still confident that it's going to happen sooner, not later.
Any particular regulations that you're looking forward to sort of have, or?
Of course, everybody is waiting for this international trading implementation regulation. Well, basically the whole trading regulation that will be coming up soon. I think we have witnessed the IDX carbon exchange that was officially launched 26 September last year. But the transaction is only happening on that day.
Only a couple
and then
a couple of transactions, yeah.
And stop. It mainly because of a lot of hurdles and still bottlenecks. There's not supply, especially from nature base. They're still waiting for a lot of regulations to materialize. And I think somehow I know a bit the reason behind it, but I think a lot of impatient investors. My worry is they just gonna switch to another country, and this is gonna be a big loss to us.
Yeah, it's an opportunity loss, of course. And do you think any other ways to sort of convince them at the moment? I mean, you're obviously working with some of them, and how do you actually convince them at the moment?
I believe I have convinced them. 300 people showed up in our event, remember? So I think there are
300 people, investors, right?
Investors, buyers are showing up in Bali. Of course, we enjoy Bali. Everybody loves Bali. All over the world love Bali. So this is our way of saying thanks to them, but trying to say, hey, look, stay with us. We'll make it happen soon.
Yeah. Can you explain that CDC, right?
Right.
Your event, right? Can you explain a little bit more on that? Just quick one.
CDC is we call it Carbon Digital Conference. It's a bit different than any regular climate summit because we are incorporating carbon digital into the conventional, we call it carbon development. So it's a beginning. There are many startups, VCs, and also, of course, the conventional carbon players were there. Still in the beginning process, but I think the overwhelming response, they're waiting for CDC 2024 this year, which I think hopefully we're gonna showcase more projects, more business matching, and more investment coming.
Right. Congratulations for your achievement on that particular sort of event. But back to the carbon market, right? And you said that in 2021, the government is sort of suspended. Can you elaborate what is the suspension all about?
Well, they they basically evaluating all the projects that has been executed, which unfortunately
Certified, executed,
right,
sold,
it's
right?
actually
Yeah.
already certified, already traded to many prominent buyers, AAA ratings companies all over the world. But then Indonesia have taken a very I could say a very, I'm not saying foolish, but I think it's a very brave steps.
Yeah.
They think that they will try to promote even more high integrity projects and more accountable. But at the same time, I think they want to see that all the projects stays here instead of transactions going elsewhere, like I think you know from other commodities, palm oil, coal, even though we are supplying the world, but the world just trading it in Singapore. So I think that in a sense, I kind of support the idea, except I think we need to fast track to make
Accelerate,
it accelerate and make it things more comfortable and more promising for the investment.
Okay. Well, you think that the carbon market, the IDX carbon that we already have, it's stagnant at the moment, and without the involvement on the international buyers, do you think it's going to, get better?
I don't think so, because I think you witness yourself how the Indonesian stock exchange. I think without international buyers, liquidity will not coming. So I think this is going to be the same thing.
Right.
So we talk about NDC, the nationally determined contributions, getting our target for reducing our emission. But I think there is no such a thing within the Paris Agreement itself that reaching the NDC must be fulfilled by our domestic market. It's open actually. So this is our chance. If we go for voluntary carbon market, I think we could always sell it overseas without corresponding adjustment. So the NDC will stay here, and that's the huge opportunity for us, which I believe one thing that I think the government still have not yet confidence on that.
Right. So you're saying that even though the projects, as long as the projects are actually produced in Indonesia, and then the carbon credit sort of sold abroad, it's actually the NDC is already counted in there.
Yes, because the mechanism Article 6.2, Article 6.4 within the Paris Agreement, you need corresponding adjustment to transfer credits overseas. If the hosting countries, even the Paris Agreement deliberately said that hosting countries have their own discretion on deciding what to do. So I think this is up to us actually. And I think that mechanism within the voluntary carbon market says and speaks by itself. Multinational companies, private sectors don't need NDCs.
Right.
Only government, only G2G type.
Because it's a commitment of the government, right? Yeah.
Right. If it's government to government, then they need the NDC. They will need the ITMOs and they are corresponding adjustment. But like what we have witnessed, the existing and the previous projects and current projects never deal with government. They only deals with multinational companies, and therefore NDC will stay in Indonesia.
So the government suspended the projects, and then what happened? They want to create their own sort of SRN, right?
Yeah. Indonesia wants to apply two things. Number one, for the standards, they call it ICER, Indonesia's Certification of Emission Reductions. And then for the registry, they want everything to be registered in Indonesia, which is good in a sense. But I think we need to make it ease of doing business must be promoted. Even though everybody would like to learn how to buy carbon credits through SRN, even through the IDX carbon exchange, that's not an issue. So as long as we can always treat them as a value chain of a new system, a new era that also very market friendly.
Right.
I think if that is the case, we're gonna have a very excellent market in the future.
How is the SRN doing at the moment? What I'm saying is the system itself, the integrity of the system itself.
Well, I think they are quite slow, honestly, and they're not widely accepted in the market at the moment. They need help. They need support. We've been trying to support and help them as well. We have, for example, a collaboration joint task force, which you are also in it.
Of course.
With FERA, for
My
example.
role is actually to dig out more on your roles.
Basically, Vera is the standard that is widely accepted. More than 90% of the buyers are preferred Vera, which I think is very common and realistic approach. If we can just sort of do coalition or harmonizing or align with their system, and therefore I think SRN should also do that. By doing that, I think Indonesia will benefit a lot.
Wow. Well, do you think the mutual recognition will happen in the future?
Oh, it will, but learning the experience from timber, I used to do timber a lot. So we have what we call SVLK, Sistem Verifikasi Legalitas Kayu, which is mainly a compulsory standard being issued by Indonesian government. But if you want to sell furniture or plywood or any timber products to the US, to the Europe, they don't recognize SVLK. They recognize FSC, Forest Stewardship Council. So I used to be the chairman of the legal committee of Indonesian Association for Forest Concessionaires, APHI, and it took me 20 years. Until now, it hasn't been mutually recognized.
Really? So what happened then?
Of course, they don't need countries actually. FSC is I'm not saying arrogant, but because of market, maybe almost 100% of the international market
They
trust them, so they don't need countries. Lucky for us, actually, Vera is not that arrogant.
Oh, okay.
So they
good news.
they still listen to countries like Indonesia. They want to talk, they want to discuss, and they still allow any compromise or any collaboration, any harmonization, which is good in a sense. But I think market have their own pace of doing business. I don't think market will able to wait too long. This is our chance to prove ourselves that the Indonesian system is basically also adaptable and very compatible to international market. I think that's what we need to send the message across.
Good. Well, it's got nothing to do with politics, but the next sort of discussions on the vice presidential debate is related to the environmental issues. So what do you think needs to be addressed by these candidates?
I think they need to have a more clear picture, especially because knowing I'm being the chairman of the Indonesia Carbon Trade Association, I think the roadmap, the basic of the fundamental presidential decree on all kinds of regulation regarding carbon trading and carbon sequestrations and carbon development, I think needs to be focused on. They need to prioritize that, and I think they should make things going again. At least just right on the table. The lowest hanging fruit is let's make it IDX carbon exchange alive. I mean that's what the simplest thing to do.
Yeah, so that's the indications basically, right?
Right.
Well, are you optimistic about the futures on this carbon trading ecosystem?
Of course. Otherwise,
You're not going to do it.
So that's why I think we still and this is the future of the future business. Basically, everybody always have a very strong confidence on Indonesia, and we've been exercising that. and making sure they stay and stick with us, not going to look at other beautiful girls like Brazil or Congo,
Yeah, yeah.
because I think Indonesia is beautiful enough.
Yep. Well, thank you very much for being here with us and sharing
you.
your insights related to this carbon trading. And all the best to you and your efforts related with whatever you put into creating the better futures on the carbon trading.
My
Well,
pleasure.
Sure.
Yeah, my pleasure, and good luck also with this podcast. I think it's terrific. It's very good.
Thank you very much. So before we close in, can you actually give a sort of closing remarks about 1 or 2 minutes to the audience, please?
Well, I think the future is ours. So whatever that we could do to make the world a better place, let's think of anything that relates to that. So the future is one, saving our tomorrow. Thank you.
Saving the planet also, right?
Right. I mean, our tomorrow is including the planet.
Including the planet.
Right.
Thank you very much, Pak Riza.
Thank you.
Well, that was Dr. Riza Suarga, the chairman of the Indonesian Carbon Trade Association. And we're so lucky that we just heard a lot of things from him related to the carbon trading issues in Indonesia. And well, we're very optimistic that we're looking forward to see the better future on the carbon trading. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Poempida Hidayatulloh. You're watching Carbon Forum. Until the next episode. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.